Yeah, I did too.
I'm fired up.
It's all the way live. I'm loving it, and we are going to have a great time.
I actually think we do better live.
Yeah,
I'm not in my head.
Yeah. I think it's more spontaneous that way, and
Yeah.
it's a little bit more natural when we're live. I agree with you. I actually agree with you.
But
on
the
that.
topic is unfun.
Yeah, the topic is not a good one. Government's still shut down. Republicans aren't here. I don't know about you, but I'm like sick and tired of the speaker's Ned Flanders bullshit stick. He needs to work with us. To get
Yeah,
the
it is
government
very
open.
Ned Flanders.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do today is talk to several members. They're Democratic members of the House because, again, 5 weeks in a row, we're here, but they're not. So the speaker has literally shut down. That's okay. That happens in live. It happens when you're live. We got a little background noise. Anyways, we are 5 weeks into the shutdown. Democratic caucus is here. The Republican conference, those members have not come back. The speaker has said, don't come to his members to D.C. And so we don't have anyone to negotiate with. I try to talk to folks on the phone and be part of whatever group of folks is working on a potential solution, but there's no one here to actually work with.
No.
I have described it to my wife as like, I feel like we're in a ship. It's Congress because he shut down the House of Representatives, which is crazy, insane.
Yeah.
Is like a ship in the middle of the ocean, and it's dead in the water. Like, and the captain, in this case, the speaker, broke it.
Yeah, that's right.
And he doesn't want to fix it.
Yeah, well, he can't fix it because he has to get everything approved by Trump before he does absolutely anything. And that's the problem, is that he's not the speaker. And I'll never forget something that Nancy Pelosi said, if I'm not mistaken, it was right when Johnson went in. And she said that if you can't have the power with the job, then it's really not worth having.
What are you doing?
Yeah. What are you doing? He's abdicated like any power that he's had. He's abdicated to the executive branch, which is how the system is not designed, right?
They have decided to sort of ignore the Constitution. The Constitution says, Article 1, that Congress has these powers, and he has said, "No, I am a subject."
Yeah, that's right.
To Trump, and soon to the same extent has done the same. So we're going to talk to several members of Congress about the situations in their district, and what they have been doing and what they're working on, how they're trying to get us to a resolution here. But the bottom line is we're almost 30 days into the shutdown, 5 weeks. Usually the president of the United States negotiates with members of Congress. This president refuses to negotiate. He's out of town again. And in his absence, you would think that congressional Republicans would negotiate, but they do not want to negotiate. The argument, this is just a way of sort of, to a quick recap, the argument that Democrats are making is, look, we want to reopen the government, but let's get a resolution on healthcare. In particular, the extension of the Affordable Care Act subsidies, because on November 1, the new people will start to get their letters, and that's when open enrollment happens. And if this doesn't get resolved, premiums are going to shoot through the roof. Now, on top of that, on November 1, because Trump has said, I'm not going to provide food assistance to anyone, 42 million Americans who get food assistance. On November 1, people will lose their food assistance, even though he has the money to pay them. He's got a $5 billion contingency fund. He gave $40 billion to Argentina, or planning to. He obviously can do this. He's choosing not to. So on November 1, this is really the sort of context in which we're talking to members of Congress today. On November 1, in a few days, people's health care costs are going to skyrocket.
Right.
And 42 million people are going to lose food assistance. And on the healthcare side, it's about 24 million.
Yeah.
And so we've got a whole host of numbers to talk to, and we'll get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right.
I love that.
All right. So let's introduce them. Deborah Ross
Ross,
and Gil
North
Cisnero.
Carolina. Gil Cisneros. Yeah.
All right. And
Gil
then
Cisneros
Gil,
from
you sit
California.
here. Oh, no, you stay there. All right. And the mic is live. I'll be back.
All right. All right. What's
All
up,
right.
Gil? You doing all right, man?
I'm good, Mark. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing all right. I'm doing great. And first of all, thank each and every one of you for being on today. This is crazy. Deborah, we will start with you. What are people back at home saying about the shutdown?
Well, they're very frustrated. The thing about North Carolina is we're having a similar shutdown in North Carolina. So here, Mike Johnson won't call us back to work. He doesn't want to do any work unless Trump says it's okay. And our legislature went back to work last week to redraw district lines, but then they still haven't done a budget. They said they're going to go home for the rest of the year.
Wow.
And this is a Republican legislature, Republican House, Republican Senate, Democratic governor. The governor's like, where's the budget? And so everybody is just waiting for Trump to say jump, and they will just do whatever he says. Meanwhile, our people are suffering. So last week I went to visit a food bank, and the thing about the people at the food bank, they said it's bad what's going to happen on November 1st, but the big ugly law already cut 20%. The state government isn't doing anything to put any money in it. Price of food is higher. It's harder for us to do our job. People aren't donating as much. This is a perfect storm. Also did some stuff on women's health care, including research funding and Medicaid. And people of both parties said, we can't afford our health insurance. And particularly if you have breast cancer, it's still Breast Cancer Awareness Month, you have a pre-existing condition, those copays, those deductibles, it's just out of reach. And these are people who really need help. So that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. And California, I know that you're in a state like mine, very highly populated. What are you hearing from people in California? They got to be concerned.
Oh no, they're definitely concerned about the health care, the cuts to Medicaid, and the cuts or the rising cost of the Affordable Care Act because of the subsidies. Right, Cover California is the big program that basically created because of the Affordable Care Act. Those rates are going to go up, right? And I visited a food bank. Because of the rising costs already, because the groceries have gone down, like Trump promised, price of things have gone down, electricity prices have gone up across the country. The lines at the food banks are getting longer. They're only going to get longer once November 1st comes around, and we have that stuff as well. They said that even like you just said, right, they have the money. It is there. They're refusing to use it, right?
Yeah. No, the money's
there. But we got Prop 50 coming. People are excited about that. The polls are looking good. And this is our way of fighting back, right?
Yeah.
Donald Trump, we're not going to let him steal our elections.
Yeah.
People of California coming together to stand up and to fight back. And we're going to have 5 new seats.
Yeah.
We can go Democratic-wise and put 5 more people in the House come 2026.
Yeah, that's right. And we'll get into that later. I do want to get back to that. I want to ask y'all, and I'll let you know what I've been hearing. So we're 29 days in now. And one of the questions that I ask employees, we have a lot in DFW, is, okay, how are you guys, what do you guys think about this now? People's health care. Are you afraid that we didn't reopen the government? And it was fascinating what I heard. I was told that they're going to lose their jobs anyway, right? Because they've been saying the job movement before. And they've also told me that some crazy stuff has been happening in the office, like things that are probably imagine. People that the people that pro Trump and only work side of these programs anymore. Trump and and a lot of it that Trump is going to reconstitute the government and turn it into a Tammany Hall style system where he can reappoint people to these jobs as political appointees and just fire everybody in the civil service. That's why they're wearing these, Trump T-shirts and things like that to work, which is again a huge Hatch Act. But it was fascinating what what they told me, they please don't use the prospect of getting laid off. Stop what you're doing because they want to fire us anyway. So please keep doing what you're doing. They've all, I don't know if you're all doing the same thing, but they have been being in there. You need to keep fighting for what you're fighting for because at the end of the day.
Yeah, well, I'm hearing similar things. I mean, Trump's already laid off and fired people at the EPA. National,
200,000 people across
right. And where the judge said can't do it during the shutdown. People are concerned, though, and we need to make sure that they get paid. We need to take care of their families, and we need to make it clear whose fault this is.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the House, they have the Senate, they have the White House. They have been really using and abusing our federal employees since the day Trump took office. And we need to stick up for our federal employees. And one of the ways that we do that is by saying we care about your health care, we care about making sure that you don't get fired, we care about your First Amendment rights, and show up for them and let them know. And I've been visiting some of my federal employees like you have, and they've been through just the ringer. I mean, the National Weather Service, they fired a whole bunch of people. Then they were like, oh no, it's hurricane season, we have to hire you back. I mean, this is ridiculous. So the shutdown is one thing, but like I said, with the SNAP issue, this has been going on since January, and we have got to get this to stop.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, they've already made cuts to the SNAP program. Right? They've been going after people's jobs since the beginning of the administration when he started in January. So people understand that, right? He is causing the havoc, right? This shutdown is his responsibility. And what I'm hearing from Mark is they want us to keep fighting. They want us to stand up.
Yeah.
You know, hearing about the chaos that is going on in government agencies, right? You know, whether it's offices, EPA, everywhere. It's like there's just no stability anywhere, and they're just causing havoc, right? And so, but continuously, I encourage people not give in.
While we're on the shutdown, let me ask you, Gil. When it comes to the Affordable Care Place market, and these bills start to come in, are people talking to you about that? Are they concerned about that particular piece? Because obviously, the federal, if they would help us on that, we could refuse to do. What are you hearing on that?
Oh no, they are definitely concerned, right? My district alone, the cost for some people could go up as $13,000 a year. Yeah, that's a decision.
Yeah.
Okay, do I keep paying my rent, or do I pay for health care? Right.
Yeah.
People are always roof over there.
Right.
So, but they're going to suffer.
Yeah.
I was speaking to a young woman just a couple of weeks ago who talked about telling me, like, she was a young single mother. Now she relied on Medicaid. It was a program that helped her get on and get, so she could take time to learn a trade, learn a job, and go and get her education. She depended on SNAP to give her daughter to be able to put healthy meals on the table, right, for her daughter. Yeah. These programs make a difference. And they
Huge
help
difference.
Kids create stability in their lives. But she had a father too. She was talking about. Has, I think she said, ALS. Has healthcare problems. But she's worried about what's going to happen to her father as well, right?
Yeah.
He's cut. He's going to be able to get the health care that he still needs. He's going to be able to feed himself. These are devastating threats that are going to have devastating effects on people. And it's just going to have a negative impact on the country.
Yeah, really, really negative impact. What are you hearing about healthcare concerns?
I'm hearing it from everybody. I had a mom come and visit me. She had a notepad with how much healthcare costs would come up for her family on the ACA. The thing that we have to realize is who is on the ACA. Right? People who do not have employer-sponsored health care. That's small businesses, that's people in the gig economy, that's independent contractors, because they're not part of some risk pool. So they have to go out and buy their insurance. And the people who are most dependent on ACA are people who are generally middle aged, have maybe a decade or more before they're going to be ready for Medicare. And those folks, their premiums are going through the roof because the insurance company's like, oh, you're more likely to get a heart attack, or you're more likely to get cancer, or you're more likely to get. And imagine if you're like these women with breast cancer, if you already have a pre-existing condition. I talked to a woman yesterday. She has this great podcast that she does in North Carolina. Her husband's 63 years old, so 2 years away from Medicare, and in his 40s, he had had some kind of heart problem. She said until we got the Affordable Care Act, he couldn't get health insurance. And now, if they don't get those subsidies, it's just going to be thousands of dollars more a month in order for him to get health care, even though he's doing okay now. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about families. The woman who came to visit me, one of her kids has mental health issues. Not all of these plans cover it. So even with her premiums going up, she's going to pay out of pocket for him to get therapy and the things that he needs. And she's terrified.
Right. Yeah, it is. It's interesting. It's going to be, I think, fascinating to see what happens when people start getting those bills and see premium increases, particularly some of their supporters. And if they start calling them, the thing that does worry me is that we had someone that got to our office that was concerned that had a child that was in pretty bad condition, required them to be on Medicaid. And the person was worried about all these other sort of politics, sort of social type issues, cultural issues, and that they were like, well, we don't know if we want to really weigh in because, these other cultural wars. Like, you're kidding me, lose their insurance. So I am worried that everybody won't get. I think enough people will, and realize that this is serious business and that we have to do something about it.
Well, and they've got to go out and talk to their constituents.
They have.
They're not doing in-person town halls. If they're doing any town halls whatsoever, and they're really running away from their constituents. What I say every single time to anybody who asks me what my job is, I say my job is in my job title, representative. Right. You got to listen to your people. You got to help your people. And if you're running away from your people, don't do that. Get another job.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
We're here to represent, right?
Yeah.
We have constituents, right? Whether they voted for us or not, that's who we represent.
Yeah.
And if you get not talking to them, you're not listening to them, what the hell are you doing? Yeah.
And the lines are getting longer at the airports. Again, people are worried about the SNAP. We're getting ready to move into Thanksgiving. We're getting ready to move into Christmas when people need that this time of the year, so they can fellowship with their families and be able to have some food on the table. And I'm just worried that Republicans are not taking this seriously enough, and just don't see it as an urgency from them. I'm hoping that enough people will weigh in when these bills. A group that I'm really proud of is our Allies. That is a group that's been pretty loyal. But if you look on their websites, particularly the Texas different organizations that work in the beef industry, they are all like sounding an alarm about this Argentinian deal, and they are not even described it as being stabbed in the back. So people are starting to stand up to them, including some of their own constituency base. And I really hope that when these premiums start to come in, that people will also do the same. I appreciate having you. And I think a break real as we get ready to transition to the next guest, Gil. Glad that you were here fighting. You are back in Congress. And, thank you for being here. We all have a tremendous story around healthcare in particular. States are leaders when it comes to healthcare innovation and healthcare practices. And so I appreciate both of y'all.
Yeah. Mark, thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. You want to give me a signal when we're ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, everybody. We are back with two new guests. To my right, my dear friend from the great state of Nevada, Susie Lee. And to my left, we have Salud Carbajal from Santa Barbara, California, that is here with us today. People both from the western part of the country. And I know they're going to have a lot of great things to say. I do have a bone to pick with Susie. I was
How much money you left in my hometown?
yeah, exactly. I
Last time
was
you were
yeah,
there.
I was in her state recently, and I was actually hurt that Susie did not greet me there. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. We will get into that a little bit later.
Not everybody greets you as good as I greet you when
That's
you come to my
true.
district.
Carvajal had some good wine for me, Susie. I
All
just
right.
FY, and I know
Okay.
y'all have some good
Susie comes
restaurants.
to my district on
Next time.
occasion. She knows that.
That's right.
Yeah. Carvajal looked it up. So I want to ask y'all about obviously the federal shutdown. We've been here what 5 weeks now, Democrats. We've been coming back and forth. We're on day 29 now, if I'm not mistaken. We've been coming up here. We want to work with Mike Johnson and the Republicans on getting the government reopened. I haven't heard from any of them. Have you, either of y'all heard from
Mm-mm.
any of them? Yeah.
No, I know New Dems sent a letter to a number of our colleagues on the other side of the aisle asking to sit down to chat, and it was not received positively. And again, it just reaffirms that Dems are here. We're here. We're here this
Yeah.
week again
40 days.
to ready to do any and all work that needs to be done, and our colleagues on the other side of the aisle are missing in action.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Susie, what are you hearing? I mean, I know that y'all have some federal employees in Nevada. What are
Yeah,
they
I
saying?
mean, listen, federal employees certainly are hurting right now. I mean, they've been without a paycheck.
Mhm.
We're going on 1 month of this government shutdown. So, and many of them live paycheck to paycheck. So it's very difficult, and they're struggling.
Yeah.
But when I met with a lot of my government employees, they said, listen, this is sort of the tip of the iceberg. For the past year since Trump was sworn in, our federal employees have been under extreme attack. First, you started with Doge. Then you started where they had to justify their job, saying the 5 things they accomplished each week sending it to Elon Musk. Then they saw indiscriminate firing of employees. And then in August, when Trump repealed their collective bargaining power. And
Yeah.
so, they understand. I mean, listen, Russ Voigt said basically, we want to traumatize federal employees.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is a Republican shutdown. This is how Republicans treat their federal employees. And it just doesn't stop there. As
Yeah.
you know, SNAP benefits
SNAP
are
benefit.
at risk, which, this is the first time during a government shutdown that SNAP benefits have been discontinued. And again, this is a party and led by Trump that wants to traumatize the least among us to score political points.
Yeah.
And it's, in my opinion, disgusting.
And the money is there. The money is actually, I want to be clear about something. These reckless radical Republicans are saying that that they don't have the money to do SNAP. The money is there for them to do SNAP. There's no reason for people to not get their SNAP here in a few days, and it's unconscionable that they would actually do that. You're going to say something, Salute?
No, I was just going to say, aside from the assault on federal employees,
Yeah,
we have the assault that started with a big ugly bill that they
that's
passed,
right.
Mhm.
which is taking away health care from millions of Americans.
Yeah.
Taking away
How does that hurt? How does that hurt California? Because
Oh,
you're the largest state in the country.
It hurts us big time.
Yeah.
And just in my district alone, with the SNAP benefits now, we're looking at over 100,000 people not receiving their SNAP benefits
Mhm.
if the Republicans don't step up within the authority that they have
Yeah.
to utilize the contingency funds that exist, either the 5.2 million
Mhm.
in the SNAP contingency or the 23 million that exists in Section 34, the Section 32 account.
Yeah.
That they could use.
Yeah.
This is a blatant, cruel action that they are taking to further hurt and inflict pain on the most vulnerable in our country.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Susie, I want to ask y'all of course, some questions respective to each of your districts. So, Susie, I will start with you. First of all, I hope F1 goes well. I know that they're setting up for F1.
That's right.
You can see the
Trust me, I've
grandstands.
been through the traffic down on the strip.
I'm sure you have been through the traffic, and so I really do hope that goes well. But there has been other news out of Las Vegas that maybe some of the bookings and conferences or everything are down with the Trump tariff taxes, and these reckless radical Republicans not standing up to Trump on what he's doing with tariffs and how he is dealing with Canada. How has that specifically hurt your district? And the reason why I think that's important that we highlight your district is because that's often people will look at Las Vegas oftentimes to see how the rest of the U.S. economy
right.
is going.
That's right. Listen, we call it the Trump slump.
Yeah.
And whether you're talking about the retaliatory actions that have caused our international travelers to pull back from coming into Las Vegas, particularly from Canada, in response to the chaotic tariffs, the response to the chaotic immigration enforcement. I mean, people are just afraid to travel to the United States internationally because they don't know how they're going to be treated. So our revenues, our gaming revenues are off about 15%. We're seeing, cancellations in rooms. And by the way, what that ends up doing is, the operators of casinos end up pulling back shifts from their staff members. So, everyone's hurting. And as you said, the way Las Vegas goes sort of is how the economy of
Yeah,
the
that's
country
right.
goes because, we're built on an economy that is, discretionary. And when you have extra money, you're going to come to Vegas
Yeah.
and be entertained. And when you're tightening your belts, this is one of the first trips that you cancel, right?
Yeah.
And so when you see our economy pull back, it gives an indication of where the rest of the country is going. And so, that's really where, and then not to mention, grocery prices are still going up. The cost of gasoline is going up. And by the way, the Trump administration canceled like literally shovels in the ground solar projects in Nevada. And why that's important to my state is because half of our state budget comes from gaming revenue. So when gaming's off, that on top of all the Medicare cut, on top of the SNAP cuts, on top of everything that's coming out of this administration, now you have less money coming in because we have decreased revenues
Yeah.
and decreased tax revenues. And so it has an impact across the board. So, building up a renewable energy economy was one of our ways of diversifying our economy to mitigate some of that risk.
Right.
And the first thing the Trump administration did was say stop on
Wow.
the solar projects. And what that meant, loss of thousands of jobs. And, we have energy demands across this country, and that's why the price of energy is going up as well.
Yeah.
So we're getting it from all sides in Nevada.
Yeah, y'all really are. And briefly, Carbajal, because we have a game that we're going to play together all year, all right? But I want to hear about your district as well. So, in addition to having some of the best wine in the world, and that Central Coast area in California that includes your district, a lot of times people like to have a good steak to go along with their wine.
Yes.
I want to ask you, what in the world are you hearing from your beef producers and cattle raisers there in the Central Coast? I'm sure that they have to be worried about Trump wanting to sort of tilt the scales in favor of Argentina.
Well, when you consider the tariffs
Yeah.
on coming out as he has done, on top of the reduction of SNAP benefits that are about to provide a lot of pain to people in my district and throughout the country, the tariffs have basically put a tax on our farmers and the American people.
They really have.
And the cost of living is going up.
Yeah.
All of the things that they rely on, inputs that they use, it is going sky high. And they are hurting. They are upset that Trump has found money to bail out his right-wing friend in Argentina, but yet he is doing nothing to address the cost of living for everyday Americans and our farmers.
Yeah.
And our farmers are really hurting.
They really are.
Not to mention everybody
hurting.
whose health care is going to be taken away or their premiums are going to be increased. Folks that, in light of this shutdown by this Republican Trump manufactured shutdown, are not going to be able to get their SNAP benefits. This is the stars are aligning for a crisis that is being brought on by our Republican colleagues and the Trump administration. Make no mistake about it. Republicans control the White House, the U.S. Senate, and the House of Representatives.
Yeah, that's right.
You tell me who has the decision to keep our government open or not.
It's the reckless radical Republican shutdown for sure. All right, we're about to get into our game. Are y'all ready?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you ready? All right. Let the games begin. And Susie, we always say ladies first, but if you want to abdicate and let him go first and put him on the hot box first, that is
Sure.
definitely
let's
going
do
to be
it.
your choice. All right. First, okay. So this is going to be based on recent headlines that everyone kind of knows has been going on in the news, and we try to keep them kind of fun and easy. We'll see what y'all think. Okay, so in addition to the ballroom of the White House, Trump recently announced that he would build a monument to himself that resembles which iconic French structure?
The obelisk.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know,
Susie.
I'm going with the Arc de Triomphe.
Yeah, that is
The Arc
right.
de Triomphe?
Yeah.
See, I maybe it's a
Yeah.
subliminal
Yeah.
Freudian slip of the obelisk Trump. You know,
I love it. All right, Susie. Okay, Senator Lindsey Graham had a very embarrassing moment this week when his phone Siri announced loudly in the Senate that it was calling who?
Sean Hannity.
That's right. It was calling Sean Hannity. It was definitely calling Sean Hannity.
and we're surprised by that.
I know, from the floor.
yeah,
From the floor
from
of
the
the
floor.
Senate. Yeah.
Well, let's not be surprised by that. That's
Aren't we-
typical
aren't we
behavior
banned?
from a lot of folks.
Are we allowed to use our phones on the floor?
I don't think so. I don't think that we're allowed to use our phones on the floor, and who knows?
That's true.
Old Hannity. All right. Carbajal. Yesterday, the Senate in 52-48 voted to overturn Donald Trump's 50% tariffs on what country?
It was on Brazil.
It was. That is right.
Not they haven't taken up Mexico and Canada again, but it was Brazil in this case. It was Brazil and one other country that's escaping me right now.
I only have the answer for Brazil. There may be staff may have another answer.
I think
up
it was
there.
2 countries, but
Yeah.
Brazil was the main one.
Yeah, it was. Trump is prosecuting his former right-wing president for inciting a coup.
Yeah, because he likes coups.
Yeah.
We all know he likes
Yes,
coups.
he
Yeah,
does.
And
coups are good. We like coups.
what it's inference when you do something that reflects on you, something
Yeah.
like
Projecting.
Yeah, no, that's right. That's right. All right, Susie, Reuters recently reported that the Trump organization's income from the first half of this year boomed from $51 million to $864 million.
Holy cow.
What is the largest source of that increase?
I'm gonna go with crypto.
That is right. It is a Trump
His
crypto
coins,
coin.
his tokens, and
And the next would
That's
be
really
the
cool.
enrichment that he wants to achieve from the U.S. Treasury
Yeah.
of $240 million that he's asking the United States taxpayers to give him
that's bonkers.
because he's somewhat aggrieved.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's funny because you know the sheikhs and all kinds of foreigners because we'll never see the list, but they're just dropping a bunch of money into these coins. And it's funny. They asked his son, they were like, "Why is this fair?" And he said, "If you look at like what happened to us when he was president first time, and they stopped us from doing business, and banks wouldn't give us loans, so of course it's fair that we're using the White House and using our influence now to get all of this money
richer.
because we were cut off for money." For those entire 4 years. And I'm just like, I can't believe that he actually
Shocking.
basically, said
Said
that.
it out loud.
Yeah. Yep. Said it out loud.
Corruption rules.
Yep. Correct. Yeah. That is very true. Okay. And after this, the next one, we got one more for you here. This is going to be a true or false. Is that okay? No. Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up. Okay. Well, actually, I was not.
That's it. We were
sure.
cheated.
That's it?
You're cheated.
Yeah. False.
We don't get to play another game.
Well, at least tell us what it was.
It was no. What? That'll spoil it
That's
for
for the
that'll
next
spoil it for
guy.
Sean. We don't gotta. Yeah, we have to let Caston have.
And remember, if you want really good wine, Central Coast of California.
it is very good wine.
If
It
you
is-
want really good food and a lot of gaming, come to Nevada.
and good wine.
With
Las
Central
Vegas.
Coast wines in Nevada.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can get that.
There
You
you
can
go.
get that in my district
There you
too.
go.
You can, and a lot of fun. All right, Susie, salute. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thanks.
We'll holler at
Okay.
y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have
I couldn't. I didn't know it was directed Trump that the company was trying. I thought the police.
I like the way you were trying to get extra credit points by sort of layering on more in Brazil after you botched the first one.
Just go ahead and start it. All right. We're actually just going to keep it rolling this time. We actually took a little pause there when we brought Salute and Susie on. But you know what, Sean, we're just gonna keep it rolling. So how are you looking, man? Are you feeling good? You feel like you're well groomed and you're ready to just roll?
Yeah, for radio, for a podcast, I'm perfectly well groomed right now. But yeah, we'll wing it. I got no prep time. I can. I'm not Salute. I don't need 3 hours prep time like he does.
Well, I will tell you, the great thing about Sean is that he can literally find humor in just about like any story that you share with him. I actually shared a story with him about how when my wife was in college the first year that she ended up having to switch roommates because it didn't involve her. It was 3 girls in one room. And one of the other girls put a spell on the other girl, literally cast a spell. And Sean thought that was the funniest thing that he had ever heard, and found humor in that.
You know that humor's just sitting there. Come on.
No, yeah, that's true.
At least as long as like it's just it's innocent. I mean, if it's a legit spell and you're cursed forever or something like that.
Yeah, that's true.
That's not so funny.
That's a good point. That is a very good point. So yes, Sean knows how to find humor in anything. Sean, man, we're like day number 29 now. So we're really the reckless radical Republican shutdown is sort of moving along here. I want to ask you, what are people back in Illinois saying?
I'm curious what you feel like, Mark. I feel like at home, we got this job because we want to be members of Congress. We want to serve folks, and people are looking for therapists right now.
Yeah,
and I'm just saying that because that's how it feels. You go back and you talk. I did a round table with some food pantries. And, and a part of this was to try to elevate what they do and being aware of these huge snap cuts that are going to come through, how much more need there is. And of course, against that, they're saying how they're not only seeing an increased demand for food at food pantries, but a reduction in supply because, Illinois Midwest farms are not able to harvest as much as they were because of all the immigration raids on the agricultural system. And when we finish up and we got a bunch of press there and then said, okay, we're going to open up for questions. And we had some reporters who asked questions. And then this woman stood up and she said, no, I'm not a reporter, but she works with groups that provide SILAs, these housing for people with developmental disabilities who are unable to live totally independently, but there's housing that the state has provided where, a group of these folks can live together. They can have some degree of agency in their lives. They got a kitchen. They got people who come in, can, drive them around where they need to go. 100% of the food budget of those SILAs comes from SNAP.
Yeah.
And so this woman sitting there saying, I don't know what to tell these people who we are, we're human beings. We want to be decent. What should we tell them?
Yeah.
I can't answer that question as a member of Congress.
Right.
I can try to use my platform to say, let's go out and help and let's look out for the least of these.
Yeah.
Let's try to remind Mike Johnson that he claims that he's read the Bible.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if he's read the Sermon on the Mount part. I don't know
Right.
if he's read most of the New Testament. I mean, he likes the weird ass parts of Leviticus.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what do you do?
Right.
You
Right.
know?
Exactly.
And, we all know how to fix this, but it requires being a decent person.
Yeah, it does. It does require being a decent person and not just pretending to be one. I called him Ned Flanders a little bit earlier because he kind of has that shtick going on. But I'm like, if you really profess to love the Lord, then you need to, be a little bit more honest in your dealings. And right now, he's just not. He's not doing that. I wanted to ask you, O'Hare, one of the world's busiest airports. What are the workers there thinking? What are the TSA people there thinking? Have you seen any increase in lines? Like what is happening there? Because I know that for that airport in particular, because so many people have to connect through there, with it being in the center of the country, that could affect air traffic literally everywhere, and even around the world, if we stay in this much longer. What are you hearing from people there?
Well, first plug for Chicago. One of the best reasons to live in Chicago is that when you get to O'Hare, you're home. you're not getting stuck waiting for a connection that
Yeah.
goes somewhere else.
Yeah.
And O'Hara's, there's a whole bunch of runway construction going on at O'Hare. So anybody who's flying through O'Hare right now is aware, independent of the shutdown, that you spend a lot longer time on the runway waiting for your clearance to go through.
Yeah.
The so far the air traffic controllers and TSA are doing a great job of holding this together. But the traffic controllers I was talking to last week, it's not just O'Hare, but there's a control facility in Aurora that controls basically the whole Midwest essentially from Milwaukee to Des Moines out to Detroit. That whole airspace is managed by this air traffic control center
Really?
out of Aurora.
Wow.
And the controllers I was talking to were saying it's not just that they're not getting paid right now, but this is an expensive part of the country to live in.
Yeah.
A lot of these folks have long commutes to get to work. They're not getting reimbursed for their mileage right now.
No.
And so a lot of these folks, will live out in sort of more rural parts. And how long do you keep going with that
Yeah, that's
without
right.
wondering what you can go through? And I ended up having to talk to these folks who were saying, is it true that Trump says he's not going to pay us for our back pay? And I had to point out to them that no, in fact, there's a law that we passed. You and I passed it together.
Yeah.
You remember who was the president when we passed that law?
Yeah, that's right. I believe that it was
Donald Trump. He was the guy who signed the law.
That's right.
That said in the event of a shutdown, everybody furloughed, exempted workers gets paid. And that's the law. And then we're back to being a therapist because they say, well, will the president of the United States follow the law?
Yeah.
So this is...
Because they're disregarding it in so many areas.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
So as we sit here right now, so far we've not seen
Going
a
in,
big rush
Landsman.
we've not seen a big rush of delays
Yeah.
going through O'Hare, but we've got workers who are more and more stressed, trying to figure out, can they feed their family? Is the president going to honor their jobs? And what I know for certain is I do not want stressed out air traffic controllers.
Yeah.
I don't think that's good for any of them.
Sorry, I'm
No,
Hello,
hop
back.
in.
hello,
No,
I'm
no,
back.
hop in, dude.
sorry.
Hop in. Yeah.
They're already stressed. I mean, this, but this has been going on for years, and one of the reasons why we push so hard for additional air traffic controllers, because they're sitting in these towers with equipment that is very outdated, and they've already been dealing with staffing issues, right? So these are folks who are.
So you want to hear crazy stories?
Yeah.
We've been working for a while on this pilot mental health bill, which we've now passed unanimously through the House. The Senate's going to take it up. But it fixes this problem that right now, if you're either an air traffic controller or a pilot and you ask for mental health treatment, you're immediately grounded.
Correct.
And so folks don't ask, and there's been a rash of suicides. And so we've been working to get through that. So I've spent a lot of time with these guys. I was scheduled to go talk to all of the air traffic controllers at this Aurora Control Center a couple months ago. And as it happened, the day we were going out was the day after the Potomac crash. And so we called up and said, do you still want to do this today? Or are you dealing with more stresses? And the person who managed the facility said, honestly,
No.
this would be a great time to talk about that, because the stress level is really high and it will help folks out to know that people in Congress care about this. So we went out, we got the tour. It's all really cool. We talked to the folks. We talked about our legislation. We get to the Q&A, and the first question that was asked was, is Doge going to fire me?
Yeah, this is what I mean.
And,
Like
and
they're
the second,
stressed.
and
Yeah,
the second
very
question
stressed.
was a woman who said, I hear them blaming DEI on everything. As a woman, am I going to be blamed for the Potomac crash?
Yeah,
Wow.
And,
the
and I
answer is
and I
yes.
sat there and all I could say was, what we keep saying, what I'm certain is I do not want you to be stressed out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what do you say when Russ Vought is saying, I want to create a hostile workplace?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not
Time
just
for
air
change.
traffic
It is
controllers.
time for change. It is time for change.
And we got to say goodbye.
Yeah.
All right.
Sean,
Hey,
thank you. We
thanks for
want
having
to
me.
have you on the fly another time when we can to talk about energy, which is like one of your top areas. And so,
Your expertise.
yeah, your areas of
Well, hey,
expertise.
thanks.
So,
Anytime.
want
Thank
to have
you,
you
guys.
on. But
Appreciate you
thank you.
doing this.
Appreciate you taking the time, man.
Thanks.
Yeah. Hey, Greg, welcome back, dude.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. No. Everybody has to jet out a little bit, and I totally get that. We got.
I was out looking for Republicans to negotiate with.
Yeah, that's right. I love it because we have Schneider here this is Schneider without the tool belt. For those, that's the '80s reference for those of you that
All of your references are 80
Yeah.
references.
Yeah, so anyway, I'm not going to explain this TV show one day at a time for anybody in here, but Schneider had a tool belt always on that show. So
Not related.
Yeah, no.
It's
That's,
Stephanie Bradford.
and we have Stephanie
Welcome,
Bradford.
and you're in town telling your
Yeah.
story, and we want you're a storyteller.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, actually I am.
I need to get you a mic. Sorry.
So
I'll lean in.
yeah,
That's okay. Hold on. We get you. No,
because we want
we are a 4 mic production here. We have enough mics.
I
Just
heard
make
that
sure
about
you-
this production.
Just make sure you speak into the mic.
and we want to hear from we. It's important that people hear stories like the ones that you have to tell, and
Okay.
that's why we wanted to have you on. So welcome.
Thank you, Congress folks.
Yeah, absolutely. This is Congressman Landsman. I'm Congressman Veasey from Texas,
Mhm.
and Congressman Schneider from Illinois.
We spoke earlier.
I have family in the Chicagoland area.
Okay, yeah.
And I recently drove across Texas several times, cross-country tripping with a partner who'd never done it. And on 3 hours in, he was like, how much more? I was like, oh, son.
That's a long.
Long way still to
Yeah.
go.
Did y'all get some good barbecue? That's the important
Fabulous
thing.
barbecue.
Good.
And also we were in eastern Texas during wildflower season, which is
that's
magic.
nice.
Very
And
nice.
I was born at Wright-Patterson Air Force
Oh,
Base
right around
in
here.
Dayton, Ohio.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wow. Look at
wow.
you.
Yeah.
Look
So
at that.
so
And so
yeah.
you're in
Connected all
DC.
of
When
us.
did you get in?
I got in last night.
Okay, and your itinerary looks like.
My itinerary looks like just telling the story of who I am and what the Affordable Care Act tax credits mean for me now and what they will do to me if they are allowed to expire. So in order to understand this, I have to share a little bit of background, and I have notes. So again, Stephanie Bradford. I live in Lancaster County, PA. It's a small city. It's surrounded by a lot of rural and a lot of agriculture. I'm a writer, but I'm also a type 1 insulin dependent diabetic. Really,
And just to, when were you initially?
that's exactly where I'm going. You read my mind. It's
Yeah.
it's the Chicagoland
It's the connection.
mind meld.
I love that.
So I was diagnosed in 1976. I was 7 years old, and my father was stationed at the Naval Postgraduate School in Monterey, California at the time.
Hmm.
He was career Air Force. He was a B-52 bomber pilot in Vietnam. My mom was a teacher, and I spent 2 weeks in the military hospital at Fort Ord. And this is key to me. When I was diagnosed, type 1 diabetes was considered a chronic disease that would probably either kill you or debilitate you within 20 years. I fought hard my whole life to make sure that didn't happen. I think I'm doing pretty good. It's been 49 years and I'm still here. It's important to understand about type 1 diabetes that it cannot be managed with lifestyle changes or pills. You guys
Nope.
probably know there's type 1, type
Type
2,
two, yeah.
right? And everybody's all like, oh, just go jog around the block. And I'm like, yeah, I do that. But
Yeah. My mom's husband is type 1.
so you know how this goes,
Yep.
right? You manage it every day. It requires insulin. It requires continuous monitoring of your blood sugars. And in our country, and again, I'm preaching to the choir here, to do those things, you've got to have health insurance. I literally cannot go out without health insurance. It's not an option for me.
Yeah.
So fast forward to April. I'm working for a small business in Lancaster. They don't have health insurance, so I go on the Affordable Care Act insurance through the penny system. That's what it's called in Pennsylvania. And at that time, my premium alone was $637.70, and that was with
Per month.
with the tax credits. The tax credits were $394. My position was eliminated. I redid the math through the penny system. The plan now costs me $508 a month, and that's with tax credits of $524 a month. But I also have monthly copays for insulin and the other things that I need of $308. So I did all this math.
It's about
Here.
1,300.
$816 a month, and that's to get out of bed every morning and walk around and stay alive. That's not going to the doctor. That's
Right.
not dealing with the detached tendon that I had a year ago.
But
By
that's
the way,
with the subsidy.
that is with the subsidy.
Yes. So without the yes.
So
without
with the subsidy, I'm looking at $816. The math, when you look at premiums, are expected to at least double in Pennsylvania, and so my walking around just to stay alive cost monthly is $1,324.
Yeah.
So that's a $1,500. No, it's an $1,800 bump. from what you're
no,
paying.
No. It's about a $500 bump on the premium, but that's at the least. That's like if my premium only doubles.
Yeah. So what does that do to you and your family financially? Because
Well,
explain that to us.
Yeah, when I think about it, well, first of all, staying alive is
Essential.
Essential. I mean, it's like the thing you want to do, right? You get up in the morning, you want to stay alive that day. Most people, most days. Um, and when I'm looking at that kind of cost, I'm looking at always having to pay that no matter what.
Mhm.
So I'm looking at, right now I'm freelance writing. So if a check doesn't come in from a gig, I'm looking at calling my car insurance company and being like, hey, dude, it's going to be a little late this month. And you start accumulating late fees. It's one of the things that's most frustrating about living in an ebb and flow where there's a huge chunk of money devoted to
So,
this.
and Stephanie, you used the term gig.
Mhm.
You're basically self-employed.
Um,
At this point, are you working for a company?
no, I'm not working for a company. I'm not officially self-employed because I haven't incorporated myself, but I am a writer. So while I job hunt, which is what I'm primarily doing,
You get income from
I'm
the,
getting income from side gigs.
All
So
right, so looking for a job, working to
pay bills.
find ways to pay the bills on a month-to-month, week-to-week basis,
Mhm.
and you're facing a jump in premiums. The reason I asked about when you said gig, nearly half the people on the Affordable Care Act who get their insurance through the Affordable Care Act either own a small business, work for a small business, or are self-employed.
Mhm.
It is that part of our economy where there are people working hard every day to pay their rent, put food on the table, clothes on their kids' backs.
I was with a small branding firm in downtown Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and they did not offer health insurance. And I was like, okay, I'll get on the penny system and keep my job. And
Yeah.
then the job was eliminated for other reasons. But it's those my congressman likes to talk about small businesses a lot. And every time he does, I think, how do you think these people are paying for their health care? Because it's not like this furniture making company or this ice cream shop can afford to pay health insurance anymore. And they were relieved of that burden when the Affordable Care Act passed.
The ACA lifted that burden and it allowed them to retain employees that otherwise they wouldn't be able to keep.
Right.
so let me ask you, because I have been thinking about for years now that everything comes down to sort of our bank accounts, right? For most Americans, and now that we have our bank accounts on our phone, like we're constantly looking at it,
Mhm.
and this really does become sort of a bank account issue for you, right? Because you don't have extra money in
I-
the bank account to pay for an ongoing additional expense of $500.
I don't. What I'm doing right now is tapping into my very hard earned and not terribly
Big.
wealthy, not terribly flush savings account.
And once that goes,
Well, hopefully I'm employed by a company that offers
Yeah.
health insurance.
right. But if you're not, then you're going to,
Well,
what happens to that $500? You can sort of, for a short period of time, figure it out. But over the course of time, you would either lose your health care or take on medical debt.
well, losing healthcare isn't an option. There are a lot of complicated ways to get access to what you need, paying cash without insurance.
Jeez.
The level of care I have would probably drop. I might not be able to, for instance, stay on my continuous glucose monitoring system, which is a technology that monitors your blood glucose continuously. There are officially generic insulins, but they don't control your blood sugars as well. So I could do that.
You're
I
starting
could
to
move
roll
in
the
with
dice on your
family.
health.
Well, you're not just your health, literally staying alive.
Okay.
You're dice rolling, staying alive, and feeling healthy and good every day. So basically, before the Affordable Care Act, and if these subsidies go away, and if we do not address the system as a whole, you're looking at a whole bunch of people whose choices are go broke, die, or first go broke and then die.
Yeah.
But I want to put those choices into a context of the moment. So Stephanie, you were diagnosed, you said 1976.
Mhm.
In 1976 to today versus going the other direction, 1976 was closer to the discovery of insulin or the ability to manufacture insulin to treat diabetes. As you said, in 1976, a diagnosis of type 1 diabetes was a diagnosis of a shortened life with disability. It was a challenge. And because of the advances we made, you talk about glucose monitoring and other forms of insulin, people who are diagnosed, whether it's a child today or someone like you, have a full and productive life available to them. I have a young friend, 34-year-old woman who was diagnosed with triple negative breast cancer. And she's going through treatment. She's engaged. She's, all the possibilities that are a life ahead of her, okay, because of the advances we've made in medical science. Kids diagnosed with genetic diseases. You can run down the list of diseases that a generation ago were not just debilitating, but oftentimes terminal. And today a diagnosis is unpleasant, but the prognosis is promising because of the advances we've made, unless you don't have access to health care.
That's right.
That's
Then
absolutely
it might
right.
as well be 50 years.
Parents will come up to me and they'll say, I'm so worried about my kid. And I'm like, it will be fine. I promise, because you know what their blood sugars are. You can even monitor them on your phone, long distance. Don't get them on too harsh if you think that they had an extra piece of Halloween candy or whatever. But for me, I can do things like walk into a barbecue restaurant. I don't need to know exactly how much sugar is in the barbecue sauce, because no true barbecue.
Those are
master-
secrets.
They're
Those
not
are
going to tell me
secrets
that.
that are.
They are not. They
They're
are
not.
not.
They're not.
But if
It's
I
a
eat
lot
that
of sugar.
barbecue and then my blood sugar starts going up, I give a little more insulin. I'm like, oop, now I know, and that technology did not exist when I
No.
was a kid.
And-
They didn't even have basic blood testing until I was about 13, 14
And
years
so
old.
what the ACA provided was access to health care for millions of Americans.
Access, and also before the ACA, since we're going to go down that road, I did not know that the insurance cost for an entire company would go up if they hired me.
Yeah.
And
Because of your pre-existing.
because I had a pre-existing condition, and I've been let go more than once. As soon as the 1 year mark hits and they get the bump in that
Oh.
insurance. Yep,
Wow.
yep, that has happened. That has
So
happened.
they
They're like,
do the 1
"Oh."
year and then they boot you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm
Well,
so
it's-
sorry.
It's small companies trying to
I know, but
survive.
Not even necessarily small
Yeah.
companies, a small nonprofit.
And the ACA made
ACA
that no longer
The ACA
a
fixed that.
concern. We
if
fixed
it's
that problem.
affordable, right?
Right, if
So-
it's
so
affordable.
just
It's
real
a
quick,
work
you're-
in progress.
You're here with this incredibly compelling story. You've got Democrats
Mhm.
are in town, but are there any Republicans? Have you found any Republicans to talk to? Where's your member? I actually don't know. This is
Okay, so my congressman is Congressman Lloyd Smucker.
okay.
He is from Lancaster. He has a business background.
Republican.
Yes, he is.
Is he here or is he back in the district?
I believe he's back in the district. He is not a terribly responsive member. His staff is great. They know me. I know them. I call them all the time. I
Yeah.
got them on speed dial. So his staff is great. The messaging seems to get to him. What the messages we leave seem to get to him. But the messaging that comes back seems to be talking points, not necessarily written by him.
Yeah, because he wants to be a team player more than look out for his constituents, and that's the problem. Yeah.
You said it, not me, but I live in a deeply purple area. My two senators are Senator Fetterman and Senator McCormick. I did call Senator McCormick's office to see if he had time. I have not had a return phone call. Again, not to blame his staff, they probably get about 1,000 messages a day.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because Senator McCormick made a comment about the Affordable Care Act, and he said it was supposed to do three things, and one of the things was provide access. And he said it failed in all three, and that's when I was like, okay, take a deep breath and call the man, because it did allow access.
Yeah.
It's an investment. I mean, it's absolutely an investment in the people of this country.
Well, there's there's four buckets of healthcare, right? There's if you retire, there's Medicare. If you're low income and you're disabled, there's Medicaid, and that's grown because you have more and more companies who aren't providing health insurance. Then you have the folks in the third bucket, which used to be the big bucket, which was private company. You got your healthcare through your job, but more and more companies are saying we can't afford it, so they're not providing that, and more people are working on their own. They're farmers, they're small businesses, they're entrepreneurs. And so that fourth bucket of people who aren't eligible for Medicaid, aren't eligible for Medicare, and their employer does not give them health care, they need to go to the marketplace and buy insurance. No one pays insurance on their own. If you work for a company, in the United States Congress, we all pay a part of our insurance.
Yes, right.
So the ACA works the same way, which is you pay some and the ACA pays some. And the ACA pays some through the subsidies. Without those subsidies, you're now paying the full cost, and most people can't afford that. And that this growing number, it's like 22, 24 million Americans in this fourth bucket.
Right.
It's going to be 30, $35 million as more and more companies decide they can't afford healthcare.
And again, these people working for small businesses or on their own, doing gig work, whatever the case may be, because they have insurance, they have a physician, because they have a physician, they're getting the care they need. That's keeping them out of the emergency room. It means they can stay employed. It means they can stay healthy. When you take that away, it's a double whammy because they're going to the emergency room and they don't have the ability to pay. Either the hospital is doing that as charity care or it's getting picked up some other ways. ACA, in addition to taking away the pre-existing condition parameters, it made it possible for people to stay on insurance to age 26. It made it possible for people to carry their insurance from one employer to the other. Not perfect. Nothing is, but it was that step forward. And what I've been saying since the ACA passed, we should be looking at what's working and doing more of it. We should be looking at what's not working and try to fix it. And if it can't be fixed, you try another way to get to a place in the richest country in the world. The principle is pretty simple. Everyone in this country should have access to quality, affordable care from providers they trust, where they are, when they need it.
Which is why the subsidy works so well, because it doesn't say we're going to pay for your health care. It says, if you're able, looks like you're able to pay $400 and the premium is $9. So we'll pay the $500. I mean, we'll split. And that's how employer-based healthcare works. I mean, for the most part, we pay, half and our employers pay half. So it's not any different. And the question is, for government officials, do you invest in people's health care or something else?
Greg, you're leaving off a piece.
I'm sorry.
The employee pays half, the employer pays half, and the employer deducts their half and gets tax break for it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much for doing this. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, but
before
say,
you
leave
get
us
out of
with
here?
something.
Leave you with something.
Yeah.
Just what I said in a previous conversation, which is we do have this astonishing, amazing country. It's wealthy. It is stunning. I mean, so many different parts. It's just amazing what we have in this country, and we have incredible people. And I just do not understand why Congress will not just extend these tax credits for me and millions of people like me.
Yeah.
It's an investment, but I believe the American people are worth the investment.
We agree with you, Stephanie.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Stephanie, I really hope that as you're working your way through this, that you are able to lean into your writing and just find some relief and be able to just, as you work your way through this, because I know
I'm
that's
doing
really
a lot
important.
of yoga these days.
That's good.
Lots of
We all have
yoga.
to have an
You and me
experience.
both.
I can teach you some
Yeah.
nidra breathing, balance and
Yeah.
stuff. We
I
get
love
to do
that.
So
I love that yoga.
Oh, you need to do yoga.
It's,
I know,
it's
and I
amazing.
boxed before I,
I just,
did yoga.
I would
so-
say I box. I don't have
Do
the,
you really?
I do. I boxed this morning. I did bag work.
Mhm.
I just don't have the attention span for yoga. I've tried a couple times.
He's
The
not
last
joking.
time I tried, they left the window open and I heard a lawnmower.
Mhm.
And then I was like, hey, there's a lawnmower. Can you shut the window? And they were like, shh. And then I just was
Yeah.
like, I'm out of
I'll,
here.
I'll hook you up with this online thing that you'll love.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
it in
It's
the
amazing.
privacy of my own home.
Yep.
As we're wrapping up, I just want to thank the two of you for doing such an extraordinary job.
Yeah,
with,
thank you. Thank you, Mr.
the
Chairman.
fly-in.
Thank
We
you.
had a whole group of new Dems speaking today
They were-
live.
yeah, great. Everyone was
It's a
great.
reflection of who the new Dems are. Stephanie, you may not know, there's 116 members of the Democratic Caucus are members of the New Democrat Coalition.
That's fabulous.
We are a majority of the caucus, and we are the ones who are fighting for health care. We are here now. We're saying to our Republican colleagues, join us in Washington. Let's sit down. Let's try to work together.
Mhm.
So far, they've decided they would rather stay on vacation, stay at home, stay in hiding. But we will be here day in and day out working to protect your health care, protect Americans' health care, to work to make sure SNAP gets funded and that the American people can count on a government working on their behalf. So thank you.
Appreciate your efforts.
Yeah.
Brad, thanks for your leadership.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, like you just, Brad's been one of several people who've been trying desperately to get folks to negotiate with, because if you can get people in a room, it's not a super complicated negotiation. It would be, on one hand, here's how we're going to reopen the government, and on the other hand, here's how we're going to make sure we protect your health care.
Yeah. One of my
You got it?
classmates came
Yeah.
in together.
Long time ago.
All right, are we good?
It was.
All right.
Thank
you.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Stephanie.
Listen, as we wrap up, thank you all for paying streaming live with us. And obviously, this will be where you get your podcasts.
right? Okay, yeah. So you'll be able to download and listen to it. And as we always say, rate, review, leave a comment.
Check us out on Spotify. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on all the platforms. You can find the Fly-In just about anywhere now. A lot of people are talking about it.
Everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye. See y'all later.